Hello.
Hello.
So we're going to talk today about two things that are important to make sure you get out of this. Kind of make sure you understand when you hear somebody say you work for a minority company, what does that mean? You got to think about that. You got to think about what does minority mean to you. So part of what our purpose in doing this is to really make sure there's an understanding that from an RCF group perspective, when we think about minority, we're talking about minority of thought, diversity of thought. Obviously there's differences in race, gender, ethnicities, and culture, but what we're really talking about is thought, because that's really what separates us. So let's make sure we get clear on this first. So what do people think when they see me? When you see me, what makes me a minority to you? See, that's what happened when I did it before. See, nobody wants to say that you're black, but that's not the reason. I'm the only one that has a platinum beard. If you see anybody else in the RCF group that wears a full platinum beard, I'm no longer the minority.
In a full suit.
Exactly. So if you think about that, it really isn't always just what you see. You know, and we are different, and we want to be different, so we want to leverage our diversity. We want to leverage our diversity so that we can understand that there's something different between our sex differences, where we grew up, where we went to school, where we were able to learn things inside of corporate or other areas that we come from, the country or the business, and how do we bring all that to bear? So that's what's really important. So we want to talk about can a supplier thought diversity make a difference? So this definition is really the foundation of what we're all about. You got to think about this. A.G. Lafley put this in a quote in a book called CEOs Who Get It. So they did a study and wrote a book on 20 of the titans of corporate business and asked them the moment they got diversity, what did it mean? And there's all kinds of things in that book, but this definition is what we stand on. We're standing on that a group of diverse people, so even us in this room, we're all diverse from a lot of different perspectives, but a diverse group of leaders will outthink, out-innovate, out-create, and out-move things to action than a homogenous group. And that's just true. Because if everybody's not represented in the room, you can't get all the thoughts. You can't get all the perspectives. You can't get all the ideals on the table. So that's what this is all about. So you got to think about that. So when someone says to you, oh, I understand you work for a minority company. We do, because we're diverse, not because we are different races. See, it's because we're diverse. We have different thinkers in the room. And we have a 70% females in our company. Does that make us more women company? No, it just makes us diverse. So we have all kinds of cultures, ethnicities. But the thing is, how do we bring those together so that we can be best in class, so that we can truly outperform our competition, so we can think with and for our customers, how we can deliver excellence in spaces that they might not normally believe it could happen? It's because we're going to leverage the diversity in who we are. So I need you to understand and make sure that, sometimes there's a lot of definitions. Two things you got to think about. One, because you work for a minority company, there are going to be people in the marketplace, in the corporate space, who think you're an expert. So you might be the next person to get a microphone and say, okay, explain to us the difference between joint venture and strategic alliance. And you got to talk to the guy with the gray beard. He's the one, you got to talk to him. So we don't want that. So we don't want people to be afraid to have conversation, but we also don't want you to think you got to be an expert. The foundation is really who we're all about, but you do need to understand kind of the makeup. So if you think of the marketplace, when it's looking at a joint venture, it's saying that a minority company has come together to create a new company. So in this world, Scott and I had two separate companies. We came together and created a new company. Now you see all kinds of ventures out there where individual companies have come together to do a project. Individual companies have come together to maybe work together for a year and split up. We did is we created a new company, okay? That's a difference. So you need to understand what it means to us. So from a joint venture perspective, specific to this conversation, RCF, the new company, created a strategic alliance with Rose Interiors almost 10 years ago. And we said, we're going to come together and do business for Key Bank. Because Key Bank wanted to do business with a minority firm. The competition in Cleveland was not diverse or minority. So we delivered something that the competition in Cleveland could not deliver. So together we made it happen. That strategic alliance was in place for almost 10 years before Clark decided he wanted to exit the business, and we became the partner to help him with his exit. So again, in hindsight, that's diversity of thought. Who would have thought you create a strategic alliance and your strategic alliance partner ends up being your exit strategy? We didn't know that going in. So again, that's the power of diversity. That's the power of coming together to say, how can we do that? So we need to understand that profit creation is the new ROI for supplier diversity. So obviously we were able to create a new business. Rose was not doing business with Key Bank until after we created this strategic alliance. Not only did we start doing business in Cleveland, we started doing business in their other 14 cities. So it was a great opportunity for us both. We utilized diversity to come together, create for the customer what they wanted, and we're able to grow the business. So that's part of the value proposition of working together. So this is a clear part of the foundation. So it's an acronym that I use called MORE. Because oftentimes when someone says you're a minority company, they're looking for how are you going to give us more than what we have today. Now you got to put that in as simple as terms. First term, we already have an incumbent, why should we let you even compete? Well, if we were not minority, would that matter? Because the reality is that because it's a minority company, they're expecting more. So if we're going to expect more in the beginning, then we ought to plan for that and deliver more. We need to not be afraid of that because it is what we should be doing. We should be doing that whether we were minority or not. We should be bringing more. More is making others realize extra. So if we're doing business for customers, we have to go in believing we're going to deliver something more than the competitor. And that's not always just price. So we're going to have to use our diversity of thought to say, what is missing here? What can I add here? And I contend that that is why we've been able to grow and sustain the business. Because we have individuals here who realize I have to deliver more. Some may come from the standpoint of I'm diverse, I'm female, I'm from this area of town or whatever, I'm going to deliver more. But the reality is that we all know this innately. So we have to do that first. How are we going to deliver more before we win the job? So here's what you need to know about RCF. So if you think about it, that's why we do so many things in the community. For a company our scale, for those in Cleveland, this example may not resonate, but imagine when you go to the third nationally ranked children's hospital in the world. So really it's Boston, Philadelphia, and Cincinnati are the children's hospitals. So imagine they do one of their signature events and they have $1 billion company that's sponsoring and doing things, and then they have RCF next to it. I mean, that's an amazing, when I saw that I thought, how did that happen? Because they know we care about them more than who was doing their facilities work prior. We are engaged with them much deeper than product and service, so we get to do much more in the community with them. Now, for those in Cleveland, you need to know, Cleveland Clinic is now starting that conversation. I've been in Cleveland, they want to how did Cleveland Clinic know that we give more? Well, unbeknownst to us, the development officer of Cleveland Clinic, Mr. Saporino, left Cleveland Clinic, and now he's the development partner or leader for Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. So he put them on point for us. And they called me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, we know Cuyahoga and we know Rose, we didn't know RCF. So my point to that is what I started this segment with. They want more from us. There's no doubt we're giving great service, great products, we're doing great things for Cleveland Clinic, but now they want some community service. That's just true. So if we're fully engaged with our customers, we are giving them more. We never shy away from engaging in the community or things that are important for our customers. That's part of our more. Now, we got to make sure we're doing a good job of, as we're doing more with our customers, we got to make sure they know we're doing more with them. So if we're doing more with our customers, we got to make sure the community knows we're doing more with our customers. If we're doing more with our customers, we have to know that everybody understands that this is more. Because again, we're not a $1 billion company. So when $1 billion companies do a walk with a customer, that's a good thing. When smaller companies do a big walk with, that's a big thing. So we got to make sure that. So things that we're doing as associates and members of this organization, we got to let people know. Because oftentimes we have employees doing things in the community with our customers and we don't know about it. So we can't amplify that. And just to underscore that, MetLife's chief procurement officer told Brian and I 10 years ago, if you mention our name in the press, or if you say something about us in the community, make sure we know. It may seem like a 1 or 2 font to you, but if we'll bring it to our world and we'll make it a 40 font. So we got to remember that this is important to our customers as well. They want to know that we're doing things in the community that value. So what is the basis for more? It truly must be significant enough to matter. If not, who cares? So we got to think about that. It's got to be believable enough. You can't go in there and say, we're going to save you $10 billion. And nobody's going to believe that. So we got to make sure that there's a balance to it, but these are the basis for what more is all about. And when we do it right, you don't have to talk about it. You just do it. Now, we have to make sure that people know about it, but we don't have to go around bragging about it. We just need to do it. Okay? So here's a proven more methodology, and this is really going to the point that I was making earlier, that we do this very intuitively as we do business with customers. We're looking for how we can be a community advocate. So today we are prospecting the MedPace Corporation. The MedPace Corporation happens to be in Madisonville. Madisonville happens to be under a renaissance. They're trying to rebrand themselves. We are in the midst of that rebranding. We are in the conversation with the branding. We're also talking to MedPace. But we're also talking to them with our existing customers that are in Madisonville to say, we can do all this together to give back to this community. Now, we haven't sold anything, but we're already started our advocacy with them. That's important, again, to validate the more, to validate the diverse thinking, and to validate that we're different than any other competition that might be competing against us. We're going to be leveraging best practices. We have the very fortunate opportunity to work with some of the best companies in the world. And lucky for us, we work in a space that's not proprietary, that they won't let us talk about it. So imagine being able to take best practices from Procter & Gamble or Cleveland Clinic and deliver them to MedPace. And say, in the space of facilities, we might be talking about furniture, we might be talking about decommissioning, commercial moves, or others, to be able to say, here's what best class organizations are doing. To talk to one healthcare organization, who's the best in class, to another and say, in our space, this is what they're doing. So we're able to deliver best practices so that they can validate that we are bringing more. Not just looking at an RFP and saying, this is what you asked for, here it is. We're able to give them solutions, suggestions that could help them be better in the space that they are not necessarily core in, but we are. So we got to be able to do that. We are looking to be one asset, because if you think about our business, we're multifaceted. It's one thing to be selling furniture in the front door and then managing it in the assets and warehouses, because it's counterintuitive. If you're really selling well, you want to keep selling. You don't really care how much they store. But now to be able to say, no, we want to talk to you about managing this as one asset. We want to talk to you about the life cycle. We're going to talk to you about what's reasonable to store and how to move that in and out of your facilities, how to make that extend its life. That's a different thing than most people who are selling on the front end, because we're managing customer relationships. And we want to bring them innovation. We should be thinking differently. We should be utilizing our network to be able to say we have a value proposition for you. And we should be able to deliver value beyond the purchase order. It's one thing for them to measure us on cost against our competitor, but if we've done our job, we should be doing things outside of the purchase order that they can point to and say, that was a value. When they delivered that solution, that was a value. When they showed us how to repurpose that, that was a value. When they re-engineered that, that was a value. When we did things in the community together, that was a value. Those are the things we should be doing. So prove it. These are really just examples that you may not know if you've not been with the company a long time. I like to share these so people can really get a bigger picture of why we're different. So at some level, we're very fortunate to be able to say, who should we be doing business with? So we are looking for companies that are asking for something different. They might be asking for diversity. They may be asking for inclusion. They may be asking for innovation and creativity, but they're asking for something different than respond to an RFP or try to see if you can find your way in the front door. So many years ago, Microsoft was looking for a minority company that could be first tier, had to be first tier, to be able to do commercial moves across their whole platform. So to give us some context, at that time Microsoft had about 84 facilities and they were going to grow to about 115 facilities. So they were really asking, is there any minority company that has the scale and capability to do that? So Brian and I were able to come together, start going out to Seattle, to all the points I've made earlier, show we had more, prove our ability to be diverse in our thinking, deliver to them something they had never seen before, and sit down and close the contract, and then had a purchasing lady say, I'm signing a commercial move with a company called River City Furniture. That's another story. That's another story for another day. But we were able to make that happen and ultimately grow a business with Microsoft to scale. So much so that we moved 5 or 6 people out there to live. We were able to, it was one of the largest contracts for many years, but again, it was just because we thought differently. It wasn't that we said, we can go to Seattle and see if we can hunt business. It's that we can deliver to Microsoft in Seattle that which they're asking for. So listening from the customer and giving them what they expected. We're also, Walgreens said the same thing. We were in Chicago. And Walgreens said, we're looking for minority companies. We want to grow minority companies, but they have to be minority companies of scale. We want to grow them in a space that we have never done that before. So we were able to look at that opportunity, work with Walgreens, and essentially create a solution. Now, make sure I'm clear on this. When we create a solution for customers, we don't do one-offs. So if somebody wants to have brain surgeons, we wouldn't create a brain surgeon division just to do a surgery. If we're going to create a solution, it's going to create another group for RCF. And we're going to do that on purpose and grow it intentionally because we believe it fits with what we're trying to deliver. So we're able to talk to them about their landscaping. So imagine Walgreens, who was growing fast. They would argue that they have better corners in every community than McDonald's. They think they have the best corners. But imagine to be able to talk to them differently and say to them, and here's what Brian and I talking to them. You believe you have the best corners and you say you want to be diverse. Imagine if people of different ethnicities and gender from those communities were able to work into your Walgreens. In fact, we can put together a program in which they will do landscaping outside of the building. We'll work with local folks. We will do that across the city, not one store at a time. It will save you money, it will leverage scale, and it will give you the ability to manage your stores with a grade. So if you want C grade or A grade properties, you'll be able to manage that consistently. That kind of solution, that kind of thinking got us that opportunity, helped to grow and expand our landscaping business to now be doing all kinds of industry. Because again, we're thinking different. And all we really did was say, let's give them what they asked for, okay? AT&T, we were able to do something uniquely different, and we really got to talk to our majority partners, ask them how we as a minority company could help them get into an account that they're not doing business with. Now that's a diverse way to think. That's providing more. So imagine talking to a $7 billion company asking them how we can help them with access and opportunity they would have not otherwise had to create an opportunity for them to grow. So that's just thinking different. We're not doing anything magical. We're using our diversity of thought to say, how do we deliver for that customer what they say they want? And that's what we did with AT&T, with a majority customer. And again, KeyBank, I really explained that one earlier. It really was about how we could deliver for KeyBank what they wanted, thus grow all of our businesses and be able to be sustainable over a decade or longer. Okay? So that is the end of the slides. Anyone online, if you have any questions, please, I guess hopefully you can write them or shout them, one or the other. And whether they get answered this moment or not is not a big deal, but definitely don't want you to go away with questions. So if you have questions, write them down, get them to me, and we'll answer those. I don't know if anybody in the room has any questions, but as you're thinking through that, just know that we really are different. I don't know how long you've been in this industry. I've been in the industry 35 years. This is, in my opinion, if you've been in this business longer than 20 years, you were in it by accident. Because it wasn't really an industry. It was just all other stuff. And those of us who fell in between the lines, we were doing all other stuff. But now this is an industry. It's a profession. So, my challenge to everyone is bring what you know. So if you're newer in this new profession, bring what you know. How do we help you be more successful? How do we help you to be able to crack into spaces? How do we help you listen for all the groups? So if you're great in the space of design and you keep hearing a customer talk about the challenges they're having with the flooring on the projects they're doing, you got to be able to lean into that and provide a solution. If you're doing great work in the area of flooring and you keep hearing them talk about how they hate when winter's coming because all their suppliers are always behind getting the snow down, you got to be able to hear and lean into that. So we really need to be our best advocates. We should be listening for each other groups and division, and then you can challenge Brian on how you get compensated by that. So thank you. Any questions inside the room? All right. If there are any questions outside the room, please bring them forward and we'll make sure they get answered. Thank you very much.